What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to show you how to change your front ball joint on a Polaris Sportsman four-wheeler. So the tools you're going to need are a 14mm socket, pickle fork, hammer, and then this tool is what we'll use to pull that ball joint out. You can find it on Amazon and eBay for like 10 bucks. And that's all we're going to need. So the first step is we'll take this 14mm socket. We got the four-wheeler already jacked up in the air, and now we can pull off this front tire. So I got my wheel pulled off, and now you're going to want to take this castle nut off. Yours might have a cotter pin in it, mine's it's missing. It's a 14mm nut. We'll just pull that off with the impact. And now we can take that pickle fork, we'll put it right in here, beat on it, and get this A-arm to come off. So as you saw, I had to heat that ball joint up. Actually, I had to heat the A-arm up pretty good to get this ball joint out of the A-arm. Okay, now our ball joint is held in right here with a little plate with two 4mm Allen bolts. We're gonna have to take both of those out. Forgot to mention, but you're gonna need that 4mm Allen. And if you can see, it's that bolt right there, and then there's one on that far side. Two 4mm Allens. We'll take both of those out, and then this plate will come off, and then we can get our ball joint out. I got both of those 4mm Allen heads out. They both have blue Loctite on them. Now with those off, I should be able to pop this plate off with a pry bar. There it goes. So there's our plate that holds our ball joint in. Now our ball joint is free and we can pull it out with our extractor tool. So I'll get that set up. So how this tool works is this just sits on here, and then you thread your castle nut onto those threads down at the bottom, and then you take your impactor socket, 22mm, and you back this off, and it tightens up against that castle nut and pulls your ball joint out. So you set it on there, putting a washer on here, my castle nut off the original ball joint, tighten the castle nut up until you bottom it out. Now I'll take a 22mm socket, put it on my impact, and I'll just loosen that nut up. And just like that, there's our ball joint. Unscrew your castle nut. And there's our old ball joint. Pretty worn out. It's ready to be replaced. Okay, now that I have my ball joint out, I'm going to clean out inside where that ball joint sits as good as I can with brake clean and paper towels. And then I have my ball joint in the freezer. We'll heat up, lightly heat up around this area, and then take the ball joint straight out of the freezer and press it up in there. Now, like I said, I'm gonna use a pick, push in on this grease fitting. That should let our air escape, and then I should just be able to slide this ball. Might need to tap it with a hammer a little bit. I'll thread my nut on a little bit before I hit it with a hammer, so I don't screw up my threads. So now I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on these two screws, get our plate installed, and then I'll screw these in to hold that plate in place. I'll get my plate on there. Okay, now we got our plate on. As you can see, both those 4mm Allens tightened up. Now next, we're gonna get our A-arm and get it on there. But first you need to put on your dust seal. So that just slides over your ball joint there, like that. And then now we'll get our A-arm up and bolt it on. So that's torqued. Now we can put our cotter pin through. And I'll bend the ends of that around the nut. We have our ball joint all installed. Now our last step will be to put the wheel on and tighten it, the nuts back down to 40 foot-pounds. There we go, our tire's back on, torque the lug nuts to 40 foot-pounds. Now we should be ready to ride. Thanks for watching.